There's been a buzz with this movie to the point that me and Jason had to look up this next movie on Netflix. Here's our review on Don't Look Up.
Yeah, and seems to be taking over the world, or at least the United States, like wildfire. So we were like, we got to jump on this train. Hopefully, get some like views. So we decided to watch this movie and go ahead.
We're for the money.
Hell yeah, baby. So yes, we decided to go watch and review this Don't Look Up. So I'm going to jump right into this one. Don't Look Up is two low-level astronomers must go on a giant media tour to warn mankind of an approaching comet that will destroy planet Earth. So, yes, me, myself, and I looked up at my TV, and I turned on Netflix, and I watched this, and it made me feel good as a movie lover, but disturbed as a human being on this planet. This movie is completely worth the buzz. This movie probably, I haven't heard enough of it, but should get more buzz for Leo's performance in this one.
Oh, he's so good.
It's times in this movie that I forgot that was Leo. He embodied Dr. Mindy so well that I was just like again, it was moments in here I'm like, oh damn, like I forgot that is Dicaprio out here giving it up like this, because he's amazing in this movie. The satire is not so in your face. The only times I felt like it was really in your face were all the scenes with the president and the son, but everything else in the movie felt almost satirical, but like real life. It felt like this is what goes on in everyday life for people. I think some of the politician parts of it were kind of where they really played up to it, which is fine, because when you see the movie, it fits in why it plays this way, because no sane human being, in my knowledge, in my eyes, could look at a comet coming to destroy the Earth and think of it as like second tier or third tier information as the leader of a country. So
we'll deal with that later.
Right. So them being so over the top satirical works, because that's the only way you can buy in that if someone told you, hey, a comet's going to destroy the Earth and you're not that bothered. It's because you're kind of playing a character of it. The imagery in this movie is spot on. I love the intercut scenes of nature with human beings and like going back and forth with that, and how pollination, etc. I thought that was a very good, subtle sense of like, hey guys, if you're not paying attention, this is a little bit about, climate change and global warming, as well as a little bit of COVID, as well as a little bit about fake news. Like, so they do the intercut scenes. I think is one of those moments that if you're not trying to get the point, he's even leading you to the point on this one. You feel uneasy watching this though, and I admit at one point in the movie, I kind of was like, I can't give up on this movie now, because I definitely want to see, does the world of the Earth end? Like, at a certain point in the movie, you get to the point where you're thinking, okay, is this really going to happen? And that tension sinks you in more and more and more as, like you said, when you look up and you start seeing the formation of something headed towards Earth. That's what makes this movie so hard, is because every time you get a laugh and every time you enjoy a moment, it's almost like you're laughing at our own stupidity. So it's almost like a double-edged sword. Like, you're like, oh, that's hilarious. But then you go, oh shit, this is us. Like, not NBC, this is us. This is really us in real life. The film is shot really good. The only real complaint I have, and it's not really a complaint, it's just I wish they would have done a better job making this a point of satire in the movie, is I hate how they characterize Katniss, or Jennifer Lawrence's character. I know Katniss is a bitch in the Hunger Games, but in this one, they do the thing where they make her the perspective person that reacts to things the way that any normal human being would react to the possibility or the realization that the Earth is going to end or the planet's going to be destroyed. The thing I wish they would have done is that I wish they would have played it into her being like, hey, this was going on and blah, 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 and then being like, whoa, stop yelling. Whoa, why you got to be so aggressive? Like, they do this to her, but she actually is aggressive, and she is, because if someone's telling you the Earth is going to end and you're not listening, the only thing you would do is yell harder or get more aggressive. I wish they would have played into the whole woman minority thing, that we can't ever lose our temper, we can't ever yell, we can't ever do any emotion in a corporate or political setting. I wish they would have had her more in that frame, where that she was doing almost normalized things, but because of sexism, they were playing her
Exactly.
right, and they could have juxtaposed that with
amplifying it.
right, and they could have juxtaposed that with Meryl Streep's president character and hers, how because this is a woman in power, her reactions are they don't take it as quote unquote being a bitch or whatever, but because this one is not, it's perceived as I wish that would have happened, but it didn't. But I was fine with it because again, I think the characterization of what she was standing for, how she reacted was normal. It was consistent too. That's the thing. A lot of movies you don't get consistent characterization. Also, that whole weird thing with her and the kid, the guy, that was kind of.
Timothee Chalamet was great.
Oh no, he was great in it, but like I could take or leave like that whole situation. Just like I could take and leave the whole Kate Blanchett thing too. Now, I'm saying this is to cheer me from the movie, but it's like it's nothing that I feel like it takes precedent in the overall plot of the movie to make it better or worse. I think it's just there to give us more characterization that I think isn't needed very much. Other than that, man, I was here for it. I'm here for it. I think it's a really damn fine movie. This is one of the few times that I think it's one of the few times where I feel like the masses got it right. Because sometimes we'll get people to be like, oh, you got to see this movie, and we'll see it as because we watch so many movies and we be like, it was
Avatar.
Alright. Like, don't do that to Avatar. Don't nobody
Not the
talk about
last
Avatar like
Airbender.
that.
Not the last Airbender.
I know what you're talking about.
Avatar.
Yeah, I know
With the
exactly
blue
what you're
cats.
talking about. Blue aliens, yeah. Don't talk about Avatar like that. I love Avatar.
No, I'm talking about
Anyway.
it like that. Name two characters.
We'll talk about that
Jason.
later.
Name two characters.
We are going to talk about that on a later date. Because, look, one, you're going to ask me to name two characters. I don't know nobody's character name. I'm going to call one Ellen Ripley. I'm going to call one fake-ass Cable. And I'm going to call the other one Clash of the Titans dude. You don't know nobody's name. What are you talking about? You've been on the show with me for how long? What have I known somebody's name in the movie? Jesus Christ. They got to be in like 6 movies before I know their name. I only know Katniss' name because she was in like 4 of them. Like shit. And I read the book. So
Hey,
anyway,
you just name dropped Leonardo DiCaprio's name of the character in this movie. So
because I put it in my notes. I put it
I
in my
win
notes.
still.
That's why. Ask me next week. See if I know his name. Anyway, I'm gonna go on and let you take the rest of my time. Go ahead, Jason. What are your thoughts on Don't Look Up?
My thoughts. I hated the first half of this movie. I absolutely hated it. And you know what? And here's the thing. It's not the movie's fault. It's my fault. One of my biggest anxieties is to be having to say something that is important to me and then no one's listening. And that's the whole first half of this movie is they're trying to say something important and no one's listening to them. That's a trigger for me. And it was very triggering. And I was all like, I hate this shit. I want everybody. It took me like 3 times to even just to get through the first half because I was so cringed out by the way they were acting to this news that should have worried people and why she charged it? Why he charged her for the snacks?
Hey, look, true story. Jason's texting like, I want to turn this movie off right now. And I'm thinking, damn, is it that bad? Because I ain't watched it yet. So he's telling the truth that he was cringing.
This is like, I get what they're doing. I get it. I understand, and I understand this. A lot of this stuff, even though it's satire, is not very satirical. I guess for me, the movie is a little bit too on the nose because this shit happens. This shit happened in real life. I mean, this might as well be a documentary, right? I mean, we had leaders who have failed to see the danger and present it in front of them. And more worried about their image or whatever, I'm not blaming nobody, than the danger that is opposed to not just, people in their country, but the whole entire world. So this whole thing was a big anxiety things for me. I did not laugh until Timothee Chalamet came on the screen. I think one time I did laugh was during the scene where Ariana Grande is singing about don't looking up and just listen to the fucking scientists. I did laugh out loud. But what really got me, what really brought me back over to this movie was basically the last half when they were starting to act more genuine, when things were a little bit less satirical but more real, when you actually had the thing being where characters are actually understanding the danger they were actually in. And in the end, I'm not going to ruin it, but the end really got me too, because it was such a genuinely and heartfelt, and it would be kind of like the way that you would want something like that to end. So like that I really felt that, and I really enjoyed that part. And fucking Leonardo DiCaprio he's
Monster.
great. He's great. Like you are a billionaire, world's best actor. I mean, like, you know, you are a Hollywood man. And they're like, yo, you got to play a science professor from fucking Michigan. He's like, I got you.
right. So good. So
It's
good.
like, I got you. It's like, you never, like, you have not that experience to be that one. Like, I know dudes like that, man. Like, it's like, how did you do this so well? I mean, like, you know, Jason doesn't like, I liked, Jennifer Lawrence's portrayal in this movie. I felt like, you know, she was acting like how I would act, like, basically, and I get that, like, because if they weren't listening to me, I would fucking lose my shit on people. I was
Then we're all going to die.
Kate? Hey.
Well,
like, yo, listen, motherfuckers, and that's literally what she did, and I like that, and I also like the fact that, you know, she was kind of like the voice of reason throughout the whole entire thing. She was the only one that kept her eye on the actual goal or the actual danger, and she never bought into any of the other lies that were being told to them. And even to her detriment, where she was, you know, working in a grocery store by the end of this. That's not really a spoiler because it's not a part of the story, but it's like she, you know, she kept herself. She was the only one that kept herself pure to her ideology throughout this whole entire movie, whereas others would sell out. Timothee Chalamet, I hate him so much. I love him.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like even in this part where it's this kind of a joke of a part, he comes back around and is like, puts so much thought and care to this stupid joke of a part that it's like, why? Like,
let's be real. Outside of Leo, he almost steals this whole movie.
Yeah,
he's close to stealing this whole movie by far.
It's like, can't you just be a young and up and coming Hollywood actor that's just shitty in things for a while and then eventually become really, really good? Don't be good right now, man. Like, stop, dude. I want to kick this kid's ass, man.
But you wanted to take the
like,
Shia LaBeouf method, kind of.
Yeah.
Just
be shitty for a few movies, be like Transformers for like 6 movies, and then go fucking nuts, and then go method, and then do good stuff. All right. Don't be doing good stuff from the get go. Don't be like an actual artist from the. You're 21. Stop. But yeah, like the praise and the hype about this movie is very much warranted. It is very much a thing that is definitely of the times of right now that we probably need to hear, probably need to see, because you know, Idiocracy, like, so this movie that's being compared to, is a little bit more of a allegory rather than a straight up message, you know, so people can kind of like take what they will from it. This one is pretty much straightforward as like, here, like, and whether you believe in climate change or not, like, come on, like, there's some merit to it, and we should probably be doing better as a society in getting and making sure that, you know, we have a planet left for future generations. But that's not really the individual's fault.
Right.
You know, and that's also a part of this movie. So yeah, watch this movie. Maybe I open your mind to those people who are, you know, generally don't want to have, you know, maybe their ideas challenged. Maybe, you know, have them challenged for once. I know I like having my ideas challenged. So yeah, watch this movie. It's good.
I will push back only on one thing of the Idiocracy. And I know you're not comparing the movie apples to apples. You're just saying, like, the satirical, the satirical thought process of the future, blah, blah. The thing I think that always bothers me about Idiocracy is that Idiocracy was never trying to be a satirical take on our future. it was trying to be a comedy
Yes.
that just has like elements of satire that we can
Yes.
relate to in our modern day. This is actually a satirical take
Yes.
on our culture.
This is actual satire.
yeah. Because that's why I hate when everybody's it's like I feel like Idiocracy grew this cult following because people were like, oh, this could happen. Like, no, people, I understand. Smart people typically, because of our economy, have less babies than people who are usually poor because, lack of sexual education, lack of whatever. Before I go over the time, the point is that it's not a extremely intelligent level and extremely dumb level. It's a lot of people in between there that still have kids that it wouldn't happen. But I get the premise because it was a comedy. It was supposed to be funny to be like, oh, this is funny, this would happen. But people took Idiocracy and made it into this thing of like, see, this is what happened if these dumb people keep having all these kids and being like, it became something more than I even don't think they even intended it for it to be. So that's why I hate the comparison, because I feel like they were like, no, we just want to make a funny movie about if the world got ran by a bunch of idiots and how that could happen. They had to make a scheme of how that could happen that would make logical sense. And that's like, so that's why always when people be like, oh, you got to watch it because it's just like Idiocracy, but more serious. And I'm like, no. I was like, so it's a comedy. They're like, no, like how this could happen in the future. And I'm like, and I watched this movie and I'm like, oh, this is in the future. This is right now. Like, it's just it. We're dealing with fake news. We're dealing with politicians that don't take things serious and are killing people. They're like, anyway, but
dealing with billionaire, entrepreneurs who are more concerned about making their next $1 billion rather than, helping out the human race.
Right. And running the politicians. Like, anyway.